and today's video is the next installment or next class on side decking. So today's side deck video is about countering, or side deck to countering, the overwhelmingly accepted way to actually side deck in a competitive manner in order to win. So my previous video, Side Deck 1000, was kind of an intro to side decks. Side decking 1200 was about siding to change, or changing up your deck through side decks to alter strategies. And like I just said, today's video, Side Decking 1250, is about side decking to counter. What are the differences between side decking to counter and side decking to change? Well, if you watch my previous video, which is here, you will have seen that side decking to change revolves around using the entire side deck to alter the entire goal strategy of your main deck between duels. However, with side decking to counter, you focus on using anywhere from 5 to 1 cards in your side deck to side in to give you that edge over another deck. Those 5, or even that 1 card, specifically will completely counter your opponent's strategy. So that way they cannot do whatever they want to do anymore, which will then give you the opportunity to swing in and win. Side decking to counter has 5 stages. Stage 1 is choosing who to counter. The who in this situation would be what decks, the archetypes, the strategy, the deciding the need to counter who. So this is when you pick, okay, who do you want to have the 5 cards to counter for, and who can you counter with just 1 card. Stage 3, picking their counters, so the specific cards that actually counter those decks' strategies. Choosing what to rotate, since with side decking you have to take 1 card from your side deck and 1 card from your main deck and rotate them out, you have to make sure you have a plan of what you're going to rotate beforehand, so that way you're not having 3 minutes to create a whole new plan. And then, of course, stage 5, the last stage, is adjusting, or being able to be flexible. Understanding that even if you already have a plan to rotate certain cards for certain strategies, these new decks that you're facing might have altered strategies, or different mechanics, or different playstyles that it would benefit you more to rotate different cards from your side deck and different cards from your main deck in order to win. I'll be breaking down these 5 stages into 3 videos, one of which is today's video. So let's get down to it. Today's video will be talking about stage 1, or choosing who to counter. So in order to choose who you want to counter, it'll depend on your competition. To consider your competition, it depends on if you're doing or building a side deck for your locals, or if you're building a side deck for a very large competition that is either nationwide or something along the lines, kind of like a regionals or YCS, or even an ARG circuit. First, I'm going to be talking about locals. To understand your competition of locals, this is probably going to take a couple weeks. You're going to have to pay attention to who actually wins each of the tournaments during those 2 or 3 weeks. You'll have to pay attention to all the opponents you face, as well as the other opponents in the competition. So it might actually be beneficial to not duel in one of the tournaments and just watch the other players in the tournament play, observing their strategies, their styles, their decks, in order to better side against them and know who they are and how they play. If you're building a side deck for an event, such as a YCS, a regional, or an ARG circuit, you'll want to think bigger. You can't just look at your locals. You'll have to look up the results for the bigger events that you're similar to what you're going to. So look up the results for regionals, YCSs, ARG circuits, nationals, stuff like that. Luckily in this day and age we have the beautiful internet, which you already know because you found this video. Something specifically that has helped me lots is the Pojo forums. The Pojo forums, every format, they build a tier list, which is based on tops and wins of regionals, YCSs, and ARG circuits. In order to find that, you're going to want to go to Google and you're going to want to type Pojo, the month of the format, top tiers, and it should take you straight to the actual post that they have all the information for you. Alternatively, instead of going to Pojo, in which they record the results of the regionals and YCSs and then put them into a list form, you could just look up the results for those specific events. My best luck has always been with Pojo, but feel free to try yourself. Another source that you could find the results for top events and stuff is Alter Reality Gaming. So they have their own articles, their own blog about not only their events, but also other Yu-Gi-Oh! Related topics, as well as, I believe, Magic and some other card games. With all these resources available to you, you should have no problem deciding what decks you're going to want to counter. With the Pojo tier list, you're probably going to want to counter all or some of the decks that are in the tier 0/tier 1 or tier 2. These decks are probably going to be your most seen decks at events. However, there are always the rogue decks, so be aware of that also. Hopefully this video and my others have been helping you with side decking. So answer this question down in the comments below. What do you think in this format, this current format, which is the July/soon to be October format? What do you think the main deck to beat is going to be? Or maybe you got a top 3 that you think will be the main decks to beat. Go ahead and post them in the comments below so that way other people can get an idea of what decks they're going to want to side against if they're going to an event or even just a locals, depending on how competitive your locals get. I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure the other viewers will too. Subscribe to me if you deem me worthy. Have a wonderful day, guys. Peace.